You loved me when I had absolutely nothing. You gave me your only clean wrapper. Now, let me give you the world. Will you marry me, Amaka?
Yes, yes, Obi, I will. My son-in-law! The devil used me to blind my eyes. Please, my daughter, forgive us. We are your family. Please, Obi, let us take them, forgive them. They are the only family I have.
For you, my queen. Only for you. My queen, do you think this is a good idea?
Please forgive them. I believe they are changed.
Realizing the massive mistake they had made, Mama Nkechi and her spoiled daughter threw themselves into the dirt. They wept loudly, begging for forgiveness, claiming the devil had manipulated them. Obinna wanted to leave them to rot, but Amaka's heart was too pure. She gently pulled her wicked stepmother up and begged Obinna to forgive them and take them to the city so they could live as one family. Obinna agreed, but he didn't know he was inviting a snake into his mansion. For a few short months, life in the city was a dream come true. Amaka was treated like the queen she truly was, surrounded by love and luxury she never imagined. But greed is a disease that eats the soul. Seeing Amaka living good and commanding the respect of the household staff was driving Mama Nkechi and her daughter mad. Nkechi couldn't stand being a guest in the house of the girl she used to treat like a slave. Desperate to steal the billionaire's wealth, Mama Nkechi did the unthinkable. Under the cover of darkness, she traveled far away to a forbidden forest. She sought out a powerful native doctor, a man known in many villages for destroying bright destinies. She paid a heavy, wicked price. In return, the medicine man handed her a substance and a heavy glass bottle. Inside it, 2 red candles were bound tightly with black thread. This is a charm of blind obsession, the native doctor warned. He will become a puppet to your daughter. But beware, if this bottle ever breaks, the curse will reverse itself with fire. That evening, pretending to be a loving mother-in-law, Mama Nkechi insisted on cooking Obinna's favorite village meal. When no one was looking, she poured the dark charm into his soup. The moment the food touched Obinna's tongue, the spiritual poison gripped his soul. A dark cloud covered his mind. His eyes flashed red. In an instant, the deep, pure love he had for Amaka was completely wiped away, replaced by a blinding, unnatural obsession for Nkechi. The switch was brutal. When Amaka reached out to check on her husband, he pushed her away with disgust. He looked at her as if she were a stranger who had offended him. Instead, he walked over to Nkechi, completely enchanted, kissing her hands. Amaka's world shattered in a single night. The charmed billionaire immediately stripped Amaka of all her rights. He declared Nkechi his new queen. The 3 of them joined forces to torment Amaka in her own matrimonial home. The woman who was once the madam of the house was reduced to a mere housemaid. Day and night, Amaka scrubbed floors, washed cars, and washed their clothes, crying herself to sleep. She wondered why the man who promised to wipe her tears had become the very one causing them. The mansion quickly turned into a house of endless torment. Nkechi invited her arrogant city friends over daily just to show off. She made it her personal mission to humiliate Amaka at every turn. One afternoon, during a lavish lunch, Nkechi purposely bumped Amaka's arm, causing juice to spill. What followed was a calculated performance of wicked victimhood. Hearing the fake cries of Nkechi, the brainwashed Obinna rushed into the room. The hardest blow for Amaka wasn't the endless, back-breaking chores. It was the absolute coldness in her husband. Obinna shouted at her, calling her clumsy and useless, commanding her to scrub the floor like a dog. Amaka wept bitterly, staring into the eyes of the man who once kissed her hands in the village dirt. He was gone, replaced by a monster she didn't know. The cruelty didn't stop during the day. While Mama Nkechi and her daughter slept upstairs on silk sheets and imported mattresses, the true queen of the house was banished to the cold, damp storage room in the basement. Without a bed or a blanket, Amaka shivered through the long nights, her tears wetting the cold concrete floor. Her only companion was the memory of the love she had lost. But the ultimate, most devastating cruelty came a few days later. Nkechi found the only things Amaka had left to hold on to: the cheap phone and the Ankara fabric Obinna had bought with his labor wages. Knowing how much they meant to Amaka, Nkechi carried them to the living room fireplace. Right in front of Amaka's eyes, she threw the precious gifts into the roaring flames. Amaka screamed, her heart shattering into a million pieces as the brainwashed Obinna simply sat there, deaf to the cries of his true wife. Weeks turned into months, and Amaka's spirit was almost entirely broken. Her hands, which Obinna once held so gently, were now blistered and scarred from endless brutal labor. She had given up hope of ever seeing the loving man she married. But just when the darkness seemed absolute, destiny finally stepped in. It started on a quiet afternoon when Nkechi ordered Amaka to scrub every single corner of her luxurious bedroom. Nkechi had cruelly demanded that not a single speck of dust be left hiding under her heavy imported bed. Exhausted, hungry, and weeping silently, Amaka crawled flat onto her stomach. She pushed her sweeping brush as far as she could into the dark, hidden shadows beneath the wooden frame. As her brush swept blindly through the darkness, it hit something heavy. It didn't sound like a lost shoe or a dropped piece of jewelry. It made a strange, dull clink. Amaka paused. Her heart began to beat strangely fast. Dropping the brush, she reached her bare hand deeper into the thick shadows until her fingers wrapped around cold, heavy glass. She pulled it out into the light, wiping away the thick dust. Amaka froze. All the breath left her lungs. In her trembling hands was a dark, sealed bottle. Inside it, 2 red candles were bound tightly with thick black thread. Even though she was a simple village girl, she knew exactly what she was holding. It was a binding charm. In that single, earth-shattering moment, the puzzle pieces fell into place. Her husband wasn't a monster, he was a prisoner. Before Amaka could even process the wicked discovery, the bedroom door flew wide open. It was Nkechi, coming to yell at her for being too slow. But the moment Nkechi's eyes landed on the dark bottle in Amaka's hands, her arrogant smirk vanished. Pure, unadulterated terror washed over Nkechi's face. Her darkest secret, the very source of her stolen wealth, had just been unearthed. Panicking, Nkechi lunged forward with a desperate scream, trying to snatch the charm away. Startled by the sudden attack, Amaka jumped back. Her hands, slick with soap from cleaning, lost their grip. Time seemed to slow down as the heavy glass bottle slipped from her fingers, tumbling through the air toward the hard marble floor. Crash! The heavy glass hit the floor, shattering into 100 pieces. The red candles bound by the native doctor snapped in half. Instantly, a thick, foul-smelling dark smoke erupted from the broken glass, swirling violently into the air before vanishing into nothingness. The native doctor's warning had come to pass. The binding spell was broken. Miles away in his corporate headquarters, Obinna was in the middle of a board meeting. Suddenly, he violently gasped for air, clutching his chest as if he had been struck by lightning. The spiritual scales fell from his eyes, the dark fog lifted from his mind, his memories rushed back like a breaking dam, the village, the mud, his beautiful Amaka, and the horrible, unforgivable way he had been treating her for months. The billionaire didn't say a word. He stood up, his eyes burning with a terrifying fury, and rushed to his car. The king was awake and he was coming home for justice. The drive back to the mansion felt like an eternity. When Obinna's car screeched into the compound, the ground itself seemed to shake. He kicked open the grand doors of his home like a roaring lion. Mama Nkechi and her daughter were laughing in the living room, but the moment they saw his clear, furious eyes, they knew. The charm was broken, the game was over. Without a single word of explanation, Obinna unleashed his wrath. He ordered his security guards to seize the wicked women. He commanded that every single piece of jewelry, every expensive dress, and every dime they had stolen be stripped from them immediately. Weeping, screaming, and begging for mercy they never gave, Mama Nkechi and her spoilt daughter were thrown out of the massive gates into the hot dust with absolutely nothing but the cheap clothes on their backs. With the evil rooted out of his home, Obinna rushed to find his true queen. He found Amaka standing over the broken glass. The billionaire, a man who commanded thousands, fell to his knees on the hard floor. He wept bitterly, kissing her blistered hands, begging for forgiveness for the pain he had caused while under the curse. Amaka, with a heart purer than gold, simply smiled through her tears and embraced her husband. The city spat the wicked women out. They begged for transport back to Umoji, only to be met with a shocking tragedy. A recent communal fire had swept through the village, burning their compound completely to ashes. They were forced to start life from the very death they had once forced Amaka to sleep in. And the cruelest twist of fate, the broken juju backfired heavily. Nkechi was marked by the spirits, cursed to never find love or attract a suitor for the rest of her days. Peace, wealth, and true love were finally restored to Obinna's home. Amaka was crowned the madam of the house once again, never to shed another tear of sorrow. They learned the hardest way that while money can buy many things, true love is a destiny that no amount of wickedness can ever destroy. Truly, the evil men do lives with them, but a pure heart will always win in the end. Thank you so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed this tale of love, betrayal, and justice, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss out on another amazing story. Before you go, let me know in the comments, do you think Obinna's punishment for Mama Nkechi was enough? See you in the next video.